All we're going to do is just calculate the hourly rate times the hours and the overtime. So if you don't know, overtime's paid at time and a half. So we'll get to number one. We got 40 hours, $9 an hour. So the regular rate, 40 times 9. 40 times 9, $360 for the regular rate. Now we've got overtime, and overtime is paid at time and a half, so it's going to be 1.5 times whatever the regular rate is, and then times the overtime hours. So our first guy, number one, works 9 out, gets paid $9 an hour, so it's 9 times 1.5. So he gets $13.50 an hour for the overtime hours worked. Times 5, $67.50. Plus the $360, $427.50. So our next person, 40 hours times $12.50, $500. And then time and a half, so we got $12.50 times 1.5, $18.75 an hour, times 3. $56.25 plus the 500, $556.25. Next one only worked 30 hours a week. Times 975, $292.50, no overtime, $292.50. Remember, it's money, so we got to make sure we put the zeros on there because it's money. And 40 hours times $11 an hour, $440. So then our overtime, 2 hours. So 11 times 1.5, $16.50 an hour times 2, $33 of overtime. So 440 and 33. 477. So easy peasy stuff on that one. Okay, so then section 2 is where it gets a little bit trickier. So now we've got some employees. Got their status, they're married or single. So that depends on what tax table is used, because there's a tax table for married folks and there's a different tax rate for single. And the next thing it's going to figure into their tax rate table for their income tax is the number of allowances. So that's the number of people that depend on this employee. So how many people are supporting? Typically that's going to be kids. Sometimes some other rules apply, so they got to be 18 or under, still living at home. If they're in college, still living at home, that counts. I think eventually it runs out at a particular age in the 20s. I don't remember what it is. But as long as they're living at home and they're still in school at a certain age, they can still be counted as an allowance. This year, this tax time, our daughter, she'll be 24 next month. She still lives at home. She's a full-time student at St. Francis. We still get to count her on her taxes. She gets married in June, moves out. That tax incentive is gone, tax break. So for the federal withholding tax, we're going to use the pink tax charts on 348 and 347. So I'm on the one on 348. It says at the top married. And this works the same for both, married or single. Singles on the page before that. But what we would do is we'd look up their pay range, and then we'd go across and match it up with the number of withholding. So the one thing to watch out for pay ranges, I'll zoom in. I know it's really hard, really terrible to see. I'll just start with the very top one. Top one said the pay range is 720 to 740. So notice if they make 740, you got to go down to the next line, because if you look at your column headers, it says less than. So at least 720, but less than 740. So I mean 739, 739.99. But once they hit 740, because that's 740 is not less than 740, you got to go down one to where it says at least 740. So we'll start with this first one. Eric made $1,090. Yeah, 2 allowances. So we'll go down our list and find 1,090. So we went on the maximum side, we see 1,080. So we made more than that, so go down a line. Now it's at least 1,080, but less than 1,100. So that's the right pay range, 1,100 to 1,080. Remember then he's got 2 allowances. So now we look in our other column. So 1,090 falls in between there, our 2 allowances. So $50 comes out for federal income tax withholding. So we'll write 50 right there. Since we're already on the married page, I'm just going to go down to the next married person. So maybe your singles are going to be on the other side of on the previous page. So our next married person made 1,020. So I go up. Got the 1,020. So he didn't make less than 1,020. So I got to go down one spot to where the at least 1,020. And then this person, Christy, she has 3 allowances. So we'll go over here to 3. and the federal withholding is $31. So I got 31 for those two. Okay, now our other two columns, we've got Social Security withholding and Medicare withholding. And on page, the next page over, across from the married table, it shows you exactly, it shows you what percentages come out for Social Security and Medicare. Until you get used to, this is usually what I recommend, whatever works out for you. So you could do, 6.2% comes out for Social Security tax. So you can put 0.062 at the top there, and for your Medicare, it's 1.45%. So 0.0145. So yeah, and I know there's a percentage button on the calculator. That makes it too easy though. Because if you haven't done percentages in math class yet, or you're still stuck on them, the past, it's just good practice. So for Social Security tax, we'd multiply 50. I'm sorry, not 50. The total earnings, the 1,090 times 0.062, and that's the amount that would come out in Social Security. $67.58. Yeah, I know you could have used the total amount minus 6.2 percentage. Okay, so now for Medicare, we're just going to do the same thing. 1,090 times 0.0145. $15. Yeah, remember our rounding. $15.81. It's money, so I shouldn't see on tests. You're going to have to do one of these. You're going to have to do a page of this on a test. I shouldn't see anything that says 15.805. Shouldn't see that. It should be 81 cents. So I'll go down to the next one. We're going to do the repeat. 1,020 times 0.062. 63.24. And 1,020 times 0.0145. 14.79. So there's our two married folks. And notice the amount. The marital status doesn't matter. The withholdings doesn't matter for Social Security or Medicare, because our Social Security tax, that goes into a retirement fund that the government holds, or they spend out of. That's a whole other. It's a whole other political story there. But our Social Security is supposed to be money that we get back once we hit retirement age. So the marital status or withholdings doesn't matter, and then Medicare tax just goes to pay for the people that have Medicare and use Medicare for their medical bills. So once you guys hit retirement, you'll be Medicare, and the same people that are working then will be paying Medicare tax to pay for your Medicare medical bills. Okay, so I'm going to flip the page and do the singles. So Jason, $840. So I'll go down the list here till I get to 840. You know, once again, that 840 is right on the column for the less than. So we got to go up one, so that puts us in the 840 to 860. He has one allowance, which is probably himself. So $74. Now this is based on it's a payroll that's done during the year. And you see the column for 0. Sometimes that's a tax strategy that people will use. They'll claim 0, so more money gets taken out of their taxes. Typically, that's for somebody that might have an issue with saving money. So they have more taken out of their taxes. So at the end of the year, when they do the taxes officially for the year, they'll have to claim the 1 and get more money back on a tax refund. So now they kind of made a built-in savings. But there's also some people with the philosophy that it's my money. Why should I give it to the government to let them use? Because they're not paying me interest on it. Anyway, a politics type theory there. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and since I'm working on the tax table. Sharon, she's single, made $980. So once again, she falls into the minimum $980, maximum $1,000. She has 2 dependents. So we got our 2 column. $79. So notice if you're married, you pay less taxes. So that's an incentive that the government puts in place to encourage people to get married and have kids and contribute more to the tax base. Okay, so now we've got our Social Security figures. So 840 times 0.062, 5208. And 840 times 0.0145. $37.80. Then we've got 980 times 0.062. 6076. The 980 times 0.0145. $14.21. So there's your payroll withholding.